Hello, welcome to the John Brown Alliance, where we don't fear, we fight. Usually during this time I ask you to like and subscribe to this channel. I'm not going to do that now because it may be all for naught. I hope that as many people as possible see this video, because I don't think a lot of people are taking a lot of things seriously that they should. While America sleeps, we're up making these videos because your very citizenship, even though you might have been born here, is in direct peril. Hours ago, the House of Representatives passed legislation that would allow $42,000 in bonuses to every ICE agent that would make arrests and be complicit in the deportation of American citizens. Let's just call it what it is. In addition, in Stars and Stripes magazine, there was a headline that said that the American military has the authority to stop, detain, frisk, and basically handle American citizens on American soil. Before I get into how that affects you, I need to say this. Agents of ICE under Donald Trump and this regime, I'm not going to call it an administration anymore, and the American military, you need to clearly make a choice. Did you take a vow to the United States Constitution, or did you take a vow to a fascist? Days ago, one of the officers that were assaulted on January 6th made a comment that was very disturbing to me, but very correct. He said that after January 6th, he understood that police forces are nothing more than paramilitary organizations that take commands from whoever is in charge. Right now, that's as it is. Now, I have heard many veterans say that they took an oath to the United States Constitution. Hopefully, those veterans outnumber the American military, Secret Service, ICE, and all the entities that are about to oppress us. 90 days from today, if all this legislation passes, things are as they are, Democrats like Nancy Pelosi and others in Congress refuse to speak up and speak out, and Republicans continue to ignore their oath of office, 90 days from now, the United States of America will be a police state with armed people on the street who have the capacity to detain you. Whether that is lawful or not is still under question, because all these things have to be litigated in court. While they are, you need to ask yourself if you're going to allow you and your neighbors to be kidnapped, abused, deported, and never to be seen again, just like Nazi Germany, because you want to adhere to the rule of law. Now, the rule of law as it applies now is anything that Donald Trump and his regime says. If you hearken back to Nazi Germany, when the Holocaust wasn't even thought of or believed. People were rounded up in much the same way they are now. People were disappeared. People were ratted on, pointed out. This person might do this or this person might do that in exchange for political and monetary favors from the Nazis. They believed that if they told on other citizens of their countries that they would be spared. More often than not, they weren't. Now, we've already seen that happen. If we survive this, no trace of the current Republican Party, as they call themselves, must exist in American government for at least 2 generations. We need to have time for the seeds of democracy to be replanted and take root. Because right now, despite what people believe and Donald Trump says, this is not an act of God. This is pure, unmitigated evil that was predicted by myself and others in 2016 after the first election of Donald Trump. We went on to say that when Democrats had, power, they didn't act. He was going to make a comeback, and he did. So all of those people who are responsible right now in the Democratic Party for not holding up their oath of office and also now thwarting progress by making sure that people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez do not have a voice, and Bernie Sanders are not allowed to rise through this party to take us out of this mess, those people need to be removed. When was the last time anyone heard from Nancy Pelosi? You know why? Because she's also benefiting from special interest. Sure, she wants to be the victim when somebody invades her house, but all of a sudden she has nothing to say about what Donald Trump is doing right now. Really? And there are several others I could mention right now that put us in this position. It wasn't a Democratic message. It wasn't Kamala Harris's fault. It wasn't Joe Biden's fault. It was fault of the people who had the power to do something about this and prevent it from happening. And that's who I hold accountable. On the 13th of May, we're asking, since the vote is on the 15th, for all this nonsense to pass. All the resolutions that's going to make all of you poor and make you pay more taxes and all that, and all the duck and dodge and legalese and all that kind of stuff that a lot of Democrats are going to vote for because they're cowards. The 13th, we need every possible American in every state to get out on the streets. We need every country that ever believed in America before and still believe in its citizens and want to support us to get out in their countries against Donald Trump. We need a worldwide protest against fascism right now. Right now. people like me are not going to make it until the next election because I cannot stop speaking out. So I might be grabbed up and deported tomorrow. Who knows? Nobody's exempt from that. Not even judges or congressmen or governors. That being said, Armed Forces Day is on May 17th, where we celebrate everyone who has served this country, fought, got disabled, and died for the liberty that we're squandering right now. So what I would like to ask the American people to do humbly is to celebrate that day on May 13th. Because we don't have one moment to lose. 90 days from now, your neighbor, your mother, somebody like me, maybe your congressman, your girlfriend or boyfriend, or maybe your kid who's undergoing cancer treatment but is an American citizen and looks Latino or black, could be disappeared simply because it has been deemed okay by Congress and Senate. $42,000 in addition to an ICE salary. If you were a greedy, evil individual, how many of us would you snatch up to get $42,000? If you were evil and sick and demented and cruel, how many of us would you snatch up? It's a number games now, people. Any one of us is a target. Hopefully, we can continue to broadcast every last one of us who is speaking out on YouTube. Podcasts are great, but YouTube has become pretty much independent media. Take the next, 15 days, because tariffs are going to kick in and all that. You might want to consider your parents who are elderly, your children, your grandchildren. Stop trusting and start doing what your ancestors did. They counted on themselves. This is how this government came to be. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then many citizens said, I don't like this. I don't agree with this. And not only that, I'm willing to put myself on the line. Now the situation is no different right now than it was in 1775. The only difference is right now, the best of the best that defended this country in the past is now on the street. They are now on our side. They are now homeless. They are now without health care. And the worst of the worst are defending Donald Trump and call themselves Secret Service, ICE, U.S. Marshals, and in some cases the American military and local police departments. That's okay. Because it took a ragtag army of people with multiple skills on multiple levels who did not need to have laws interpreted to them the way one person thought they should be. They decided on a constitution and they ran with it and they defended it, and they have been defending it ever since then. So if you think by jailing me, people in MSNBC are making threats, it's going to make this better, it's not. Because for every one of me and every one of you, there's 10,000 more. So if you can, join us on May 13th so we can defend our citizenship. This is a citizenship rally, and a veterans rally, and an armed forces rally. Right now, we need to protect ourselves before we can protect this democracy. Right now, every individual in the United States of America could be snatched up at any time, just like in Nazi Germany. If you don't like us using that analogy, stop acting like Nazis. If you don't like opposition from the news media, newspapers, or if Bezos wants to disclose the tariffs, stop doing stupid shit. If you don't like us exposing corruption, stop being corrupt. It's plain and simple. You do not get, because you were elected president, to interpret the law the way you want to. And I have one final message for the Supreme Court. After we get done with Donald Trump, we're coming for you. Because you enabled this shit. So every last one of you that are putting us in a position where we can be kidnapped and killed, you will be held accountable. Not only that, you deserve to be in the same position when the tables are turned. So don't expect, do not expect the rule of law, as you gave him total immunity, to apply to you when you're to be held accountable. They had something called the Nuremberg trials. Maybe the Supreme Court, including Clarence Thomas and Alito, maybe you need to read up on that. Because that's your future once we're done. This is the John Brown Alliance.